Exploring Stories. The Freezing Experiment. In the icy grip of 1941, the Luftwaffe embarked on a series of chilling experiments aimed at understanding and combating hypothermia. Their gruesome research, conducted at the Dachau concentration camp, involved between 360 to 400 experiments on 280 to 300 victims. These unfortunate souls endured multiple rounds of torturous procedures. Their suffering would forever be etched into the halls of history. One of these studies subjected prisoners to the harsh elements, stripping them naked and leaving them exposed to the bitter cold for hours on end. With temperatures plummeting as low as -6 degrees Celsius, the victims' bodies became unwilling subjects in a macabre dance with death. The experimenters, driven by cold curiosity themselves, not only documented the physical ravages of hypothermia, but also tested the various methods of rewarming survivors. In a horrifying testimony, an assistant later recounted how some victims were thrown into boiling water in a desperate bid to revive them. As August 1942 rolled around, it marked a particularly harrowing chapter at Dachau. Prisoners were coerced into sitting in tanks of freezing water for up to 3 agonizing hours. Their bodies succumbed to the intense cold. Different rewarming techniques were applied. Many perished during these brutal processes, while others were forced to stand naked in sub-zero temperatures, their screams of pain piercing the cold air, terrifying all who heard. In a letter dated September 10, 1942, Dr. Sigmund Rascher detailed an especially severe experiment. Prisoners clad in fighter uniforms were submerged in freezing waters. Some were completely underwater, while others were left with only their head above the frigid surface. These experiments sought to replicate the conditions faced by the German soldiers on both the Eastern Front and the West, where the ill-prepared forces battled the relentless cold. Rascher, an SS doctor stationed at Dachau, reported his findings directly to Heinrich Himmler, the Reichsführer SS. Eager to publicize his work, Rascher presented his results at the 1942 medical conference titled Medical Problems Arising from Sea in Winter. The Nazi High Command's morbid fascination with hypothermia extended to the genetic resilience of the Soviet troops, leading to numerous experiments on captured soldiers. In one of the most depraved suggestions, Himmler proposed that victims could be warmed by forcing them to engage in adult contact with others. One such experiment involved placing hypothermic victims between 2 not-clothed Romani women. The freezing and hypothermia experiments at Dachau and Auschwitz remain a haunting testament to the inhumanity inflicted upon countless victims during one of the history's darkest periods. And with these cruel acts, humanity still uses this research nowadays. A lot of people don't know this, but how do you think we know a lot of the information about hypothermia, frostbite, and what it does to your body? Absolutely disgusting, inhumane behavior that ended up being used in the future for countless scientific research. Is this the path humanity ends up taking whenever we want to advance our science quick? Who knows? If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Consider subscribing. Thank you so much for your time. You have a great rest of your night.